Hey, glory to Jesus Christ. We're back continuing our second video on the Bible. So now, as of last week, 2 weeks ago, we covered what kind of Bible you should get. Hopefully you have a Bible now and you could dive in. So this week I wanted to go into what kind of reader you are might determine where you start in the Bible. It is a big collection of books, and if you start at the beginning and expect to just read it all the way through, more power to you if you could do it. Most of the time when that happens, it never works out. I've tried it, I fail, every time I try to do that. So I wanted to focus on different types of readers. Are you the type that loves a good story, or are you the type that really loves to just get down to the content and get through it? So different types of readers, I think, should start with different books. And I'm going to go ahead and start in the New Testament for the most part. I just believe that's a great place for us Christians to begin. It's not to take anything away from, obviously, the Old Testament in any way, shape, or form, but we have to start somewhere, and starting, of course, in the New Testament, in the gospel story, is a great place to start. So first type of reader would be, I guess, the type that really loves the why question. Like, why is this happening? So a good start for those that find themselves being that type would be to start with the gospel narrative according to Matthew, which is easy. It's the first book in the New Testament. And then after that, after you get through Matthew, going through and reading Acts of the Apostles. Acts of the Apostles is the one book that transitions from the Gospels to the epistles and the rest of the writings. So Acts is going to be in every reading type. So Matthew, Acts, and then I would say Galatians and Hebrews. With those books, you could get through and find yourself covering or checking those boxes that apply to, I guess, your reading type, and then jumping into other books out of that. Next would be those that are just want to get down to business, right? Mark, shortest gospel out there, but it covers everything for the most part. So Mark, then Acts, I would say Colossians and James. If not James, maybe 1 Timothy or Titus. All great short books that are just full of great content, if you could call it that, content, right? After that, maybe you're the type that just loves a really great story, and you don't really care about length like the get down to business folks are, right? So if you love a good story, I would say start with Luke, go into Acts. I would say read Romans and Ephesians, and then from there you could springboard into other books like Philemon and Thessalonians and 1st and 2nd Corinthians and things like that. If you're kind of an outside the box thinker or reader, and you really love unique storylines and approaches, John is definitely for you. So I would read John, and then I would, of course, go through Acts, and then go into 1 John, and maybe 2nd and 3rd John. I would say 1 John would be the best, but you could read all the Johns. And then maybe Revelation. However, I have some reservations about Revelation, at least at first. You could read it, but I would recommend reading it with a reading guide. I think you'd really find it fascinating, especially if you're kind of that outside-the-box reader. But there's a lot of nuance in Revelation that I think needs to be accompanied by a good study aid. So, and then of course, if not, maybe you're just really attracted to wisdom literature. Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, the Psalms, of course, are great ways to get into the wisdom literature in the Old Testament. So I wasn't going to go too much into the Old Testament. I think, though, you should start with the New Testament and see where that takes you, and see where it takes you into other readings, and where it takes you into the rest of the Holy Scripture. So hope that helps. God bless.